All right, so we're back. Man, I'm telling you, I started our last backtesting session and it was interesting because about an hour into the backtesting in the video, I essentially was just like, I was falling asleep at the wheel, and that rarely happens. And I noticed that I hadn't eaten anything all day other than a cup of coffee from like 9 a.m. So then I taught a couple yoga classes and I was in a hot room, slammed a bunch of water, and essentially I lost energy. I had nothing left to continue. So where we're at, I got my ass handed to me. Well, not too bad, considering we about $1,000 down on the backtesting session for the 5th of um, February. And in the first hour of trading, which I'll bring up into the view. I don't know why this is showing ETH. Thought I turned that shit off. All right. Anyways, in the first hour of trading, we had a range of 418 points, 414. We also started and made an initial low and moved up 311 points before moving down 419 points. Now we're starting to, so we had a opening move up with a gap from the previous RTH session, right? Which I had it on ETH. I'm not sure why. And what's crazy is now that I'm looking at this, we almost filled the gap, but not quite, before rejecting back down. So at some point we're going to fill this gap, and this gap is about 25,000, 24,997. So we're looking at 25,000-ish to fill the gap. When we arrived at this location right here, we had basically an exhaustion of buying effort. Then sellers highly stepped in to push the price down, pretty much straight down. I think this is a 1 hour swing here. Tapped off the initial balance, created the initial balance low, and now we are consolidating at the bottom once again. The question is, do we move lower or do we rotate back up to the top? Well, one of the indicators I'm using here on Deepcharts is the initial balance. IBVR is what they call it, and it's an algorithm that the team created. Basically, it has a neutral bias on the day, so it's saying it's likely going to be more of a ranging day than a breakout day. And that's after the initial balance has been set, and that happens for 42% of the 42% of the sessions. It consolidates. Therefore, we'll see if we break out or rotate back. We may see a slight break before a rotation back to the top, or it could rotate down lower. Now, just to review, let's bring up a longer term TPO daily profile chart with 90 days, 3 months, and a composite profile on the side. So this is the other chart I'm usually looking at while the days playing out. And right now we're way down here, right? So since we created this range of balance in this gray area, maybe a little bit larger than the gray area, but excuse me, I need to sneeze. We've been on a pretty much downhill skid from that 25,000 918, almost 25,600. I guess we could say from 26,000, we've rotated all the way back down to 24,000, almost 24,500. Well, that's a big round number. So it wouldn't surprise me if we break that initial balance low, come down, test somewhere around here before returning to the top. Well, in the last video for the first hour of this trading day in backtesting, I got wrecked because I was trading in what I consider to be, I guess there's a lot of names for it, but the idiot zone. And that idiot zone was this red zone here where we had a lot of consolidation. You can see a lot of these green and red areas that printed that show lots of effort. Well, this is the battle zone to determine whether prices continue to go down or if it was going to reverse. And the sellers won. And I was always late or early. We established the initial balance high first, so I was looking at the breakout, but we instead rotated back down to the bottom. So I took a few losses. And I contributed mostly because I was trading in this zone here. So this zone, in a nutshell, is, make it a little bit more larger. That's a no trade zone. I could even venture to make this larger and say that all of this is a no trade zone. But here's the issue. So if I don't take a move back up to the top, that's going to be 78 points that I need to allow it to move through and then reject off of to move back up to the top. Well, it's a pretty large move. And if it is going to consolidate, where would it likely come back to? Well, we have this range right here. It's a low volume node. Could reject, come up, reject, back down. We have another low volume node up here. Maybe we come up to the VWAP first, test it, maybe retrace back to this area. Who knows, right? But the idea is we are going to get some type of retracement if it's truly consolidation day. And right now we're building this value in this red zone, right? Where, so it's a no trade area for me. So we need to break above. I guess we can technically, the more I look at this, this is a no trade zone right now based on this swing, using this swing as our profile. That's our no trade zone. So I could get re-involved here and maybe take a move back up to the VWAP or wait to close above the VWAP, clear this zone, and wait to get into this low volume node where price rejected at this previous area of value, which I would say this is probably a no trade zone as well. So now we have our dealing range, right? We're looking to work this range back and forth. We need to have confirmation before we do that. And then our target would be from the extremes back to the point of control is way up here actually. So that price could come all the way back up to the middle of this zone, right? So this high volume node we're selling took off. So I would say maybe like right there. So if it's truly going to consolidate, and that happens 46% of the time, we could rotate all the way back up. And how many points out of a 409 point move do we need to catch? If I catch 200 points, that's pretty good. All right, so let's get started. Let's see if we can, let's see what happens. Do we get a breakout of the initial balance low, or do we get a retracement? And these are 40 range tick bars. Therefore, they're going to move fast when you're going to see them pretty fast when there's two-sided trade happening and effort is happening. Okay, so now we're starting to create these lower lows and these higher highs. Obviously, could just be a pullback, right? So this is a valid, this looks like a valid trade back up to the top. We should get a rejection up here. And now those are strong effort areas. So they're trying to push the price back up. So it looks like consolidation. Price already broke into the zone, but we're going to take a long here. And we're going to go, the point of control looks like it moved a little bit as well. We're going to try to take this all the way up to 24,650. And we'll put our stop loss behind these high effort areas. So we're taking on 500 of risk to potentially win 1,274. Now we created a new, look at that. This looks really good. So now we're gonna, we move the stop to break even. Yeah, it could come back and hit us. We could always re-enter as well. But I do think we tap into this node here. Maybe that's a better target because, well, actually, the POC is probably a better target. And then we get a rejection. So now we're about back to break even. One option there would have been take one off, add two, and move up to the top. But being behind, I decided to not do that, and now we're just ripping up. So we cleared that zone. We broke through it. We do have another trade opportunity with this effort zone down here, where we'll take it. This time we're going to take it all the way up to the value area high. If we get filled. $2,000. A little bit lower than the value area high. We have a little bit of a shelf here. Where some two-way trade happened where price might stop and consolidate again or bounce, try to get some more energy to continue forward. But this would be the safe exit in these low volume nodes where price might react and return. We still haven't cleared the VWAP, so another option, like we could put it on the VWAP. But I think we could split the difference. And this is where sellers stepped in the past. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna take that 500 that we just made, put our protection below the zones. That's a $1,500 risk to make $22,700. This is a good sign. Aggressive sellers just got absorbed with an aggressive buying push. Another big effort printed the green. Could see a retracement all the way back down to that trend line. Looks like we broke this trend line, which gives me confidence. We're retesting it, falling back into that channel. Question is, are we creating a new trend line? That comes from a higher point. And that's what now we have good momentum to the top where we feel confident that we can get to our profit target eventually. So this is about 10 minutes of trading. We're going to move it to break even. We have lots of protection here. And then once this high gets broken, if this high gets broken, we will move our stop into profit behind this candle with the aggressive push up. If we get stopped out, we would re-enter on the right conditions. We're kind of reaching some consolidation here. This is a high volume node where sellers stepped in, so we definitely feel like this is where we get some resistance. That could have been a good profit target, but we decided to risk it for the biscuit. But we're free rolling the trade and we do have protection. So let's see if we can break through these sellers. Another green zone printed, another swing pivot printed with a strong V shape and a very powerful move to the upside, which I will move my stop up below the zone. And here's where the decision of the day comes in. Do I add on to the position and double it up? Maybe take one off at the VWAP. I'm not sure what happened there. Did I close the position out? Man, sometimes we're going to re-enter there. That was a mistake. Probably a good mistake, right? So now it's starting to flip on us. We put our stop between some good protection. If we lose this trade, we'll still be at about break even for the day and we can take another shot. Or we're going to break through and find that VWAP and we get stopped out back to where we started. Strong selling pressure, crazy, right? You just never know. And we're looking for another strong effort to try again. So mistakes were made there. Not the best execution. It saved us a little bit of money though, I believe. Coming back to this area where we had a lot of effort before, maybe it's back, but lots of selling effort, which makes it difficult to take a trade in the opposite position because there's a lot of momentum to the downside. Notice how these purple zone here printed even harder. We could maybe take a trade back up to this upper purple zone if we think we get enough of an effort. I'd like to see us break above this 50% of this crazy range and then bounce back off of it and reject back up. Remember I said this was the no trade zone, so we're back in the no trade zone. Is it still the no trade zone? Well, let's take a look here. I'm going to look at this push up and this push down. There's a lot of repair to be done up top here. We rip back down below the point of control for this other swing of the initial balance. Let's take a look and see if the POC is migrating lower for this area. So the point of control right now, oh, it did migrate lower, so it's down here now. Interesting. It's actually migrating up though, or no, it is. It's down, so it's at the very bottom here, and the VWAP looks like it migrated down as well. Just when you think you got it, you get smacked in the face. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. If it's consolidating, usually flips between 4 and 6 swings on any given higher time frame swing. You have 4 swings, 5, 6 swings on a lower time frame before it decides to flip. Before we get involved on any type of flip, we want to see a higher high get created, a little bit of structure change, even though that's not the end all be all. But instead, what we are doing is working back towards the initial balance on the low side. And if you recall and watch any of the last video, we had a long bias, which was great for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but then it flipped back down to the bottom. So now we get this zone where some aggressive buyers are applying some effort and pressure. If we were to do a rotation play, this area down here, actually this entire area is out of value. Okay, so it's moving fast without us. We did print this zone. That was a mistake. Let me just get out of that. Limit buy back in our zone. And it's moving without us. Aggressive seller stepped in to reject price. Again, sellers stepping in, but buyers are pushing through with force and effort. Aggressive sellers counter, pushing the price back down. So we got our break of structure with a wick on a 40 tick chart, so that's fine. Also like a buy stop right there. Stop loss on this one is not the best. We're gonna have to take some heat. So what I didn't do is wait for the retest of this white line here before entering. Instead, I entered on the re-break of structure of this wick. Let's see if it backfires on us. But with hyperscalping, you got to make decisions real fast, watch things in real time because these 40 range bars move fast. So this is in like 2 minutes we moved 40 points, 48 points. 2 minutes. In 3 minutes, we moved 68 points. From here to here, this was 1044 to 1049. In 4 minutes, we moved 130 points. So I do expect this to come back down and retest the break of structure. That's where our entry should be, somewhere around here on the rejection, not on the first break of it. Now here's where we look for the buyers to step in and send us up for another leg. We've already had higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And we can reduce our risk behind this swing low. It looks like we did get the retest. Sellers push that shit back quick though. And we're going to get stopped out. So the stop was too tight. Likely behind this aggressive big buying candle might have been a better spot for it. See if that would have held by a tick. And that is holding. We will re-enter here. And we re-enter. Try again. Setting our stop behind these aggressive positive buying candles. With volume and positive delta. And we're just having all kinds of issues today. So our execution is really poor today. Much better to do it in backtesting than to do it in the real market. So right now we kind of have a little battle happening. We got stopped out again. So we're just getting cooked today. The sellers are just very adamant about keeping the price down. Question is, do we continue to try to fight the trend, give up for the day? Because we are down about, I want to say, at least $1,200. We think we started with like 3,700. Do we continue to fight what the market is telling us? Do buyers step back in this area? Do we break through the initial balance low? Buyers stepping in once again. Back to the chop zone. We try again. $860 in risk. Nearly a 2-to-1. So we're at the top of this consolidation zone down here. Can we break through it is the question. Back to the VWAP for this swing. VWAP for the higher time frame swing is up here. I kind of like the VWAP as a target. A little bit late on. See how quick you have to be? Very quick. Now we're back to a battle. We are going to move our stop into profit. We can always re-enter. Kind of followed up a little bit. Take a small win. So we're above the daily point of control as far as volume goes. reaching the value area high of this previous swing here. And lots of resistance to zone. Lots of buying pressure. That's a pretty strong wall here. So we move our stop up just a little bit more. We have another zone of heavy effort print. We get stopped out, but we can re-enter. We might have to market smash on this one depending on if we get the effort. So crazy, man. These sellers are strong today. That was a lot of buying pressure just rejected there at that right at that line. It's crazy how accurate my lines are today. But my trading execution is just shit. Remember I did say I wanted to wait. Oh, there it is. We're going to market smash that. Put our stop behind our trusty little line. See if it holds. Take our profit. We're just going for a 1-to-1 here. Because I don't know if we can break through that zone. And we get stopped out again. Just wrecked, right? Just completely wrecked. Kind of feel like I'm learning a lot today as far as how to take losses, taking losses. Again, back to this previous effort zone where we are essentially just consolidating in this lower range. It's a pretty wide range of value, approximately 100 points. So it's a 100-point range of value. Coming back down to the POC for the higher time frame swing, and for the can I even, there it is, can I even do this? Do we get another shot? It's a battle today. Just trying to keep it together. Kind of got to learn how to stay out of these cuck zones. I did it at the top. I'm doing it here at the bottom. And the market, man, it likes to fool you. Just because there's a lot of aggressive buyers that step in doesn't mean it's a good place to enter. Because there's likely a lot of aggressive sellers who are also willing to step in at the same general area, and then you just get chopped up, right? I guess that's the definition of chop. So you can see all of these effort zones that buyers and sellers really worked hard. Buyers are definitely protecting. I guess I can, this zone right here. I don't know if we can even, not a big fan of this zone. But buyers, can I even move it? I don't want that. I want this. Man, these things are so small. My mouse is so touchy, I can barely get the crosshair on it. So that's it's not what I wanted. This is going to drive me absolutely bonkers. This zone right here. So again, buyers jumping in, pushing it back to the cuck zone. Sellers defending even lower this time, making lower highs, making lower lows. Lots of buying effort. We're at 11 a.m. Still lots of trading left in the day. However, speed of tape is slowing down just a little bit. I think everybody's at lunch right now. So for the next hour, do we really see a lot of movement? So it's lunchtime in New York, 11:06. Actually, it's not lunchtime yet. We have another hour. So it's 11 o'clock. So we got about 50 more minutes before the New York lunch box. Looks like we rejected off this value area low. If we break this high, do we take another shot? If these aggressive buyers can push the price up again, we had a big absorption. So buyers stepped in hard here. We had a couple aggregated large orders that just failed miserably. But we are now in a discount zone. All right, we're reaching our discount zone here. Will buyers step in? Do they think it's a good price? That is the $1,000 question today. So looking back on today's trades, I may actually go back and watch this video again and the last one to really try to understand what the hell I was thinking after I specifically said I wasn't going to trade from particular zones. I still entered time and time again because I saw effort zones print and I just assumed that I could take a trade there. And then I tried to go for the home run. Maybe I was okay, but I should have went for more of a one-to-one strategy instead of trying to look for a full rotation back to the other side. And I think the day looks a lot different. So it'll be fun to go back and listen to myself work through those situations. So I'm going to bring over the TPO chart, and you can see I had this 24,500 line. I talked about at the beginning of the video where we could see it break the initial balance low and find its way back to this 2450. Can I bring an IBVR into this particular? No, it's limited as to what indicators you can put on the TPO chart, profile charts. So they do have an indicator that will plot the swings and do the profiles on the swings. While we're waiting, let's play around with that. So I'm going to remove these fixed range swings, and I don't foresee us taking a trade unless we see price come all the way down to this 24,500 or break above this cuck zone here, above this line. Really don't see us taking a trade right now. So let's play around with this indicator. And it is, I think it's called deep profile swing. And let's look at some of the settings. Okay, volume. Let's do volume and delta. Length swing. Display profile and lines. Swing settings. Highest to lowest. Swing, main swing. Swing stop setting. Enable stop swing. So it's not a lot of information on this shit. So I have no idea what this means. So we're going to take the standard settings. Just apply it. And looks like it's creating this current swing. Can we make it data settings? What I'm looking to do is have multiple swings. Number of profiles, that says 8. I don't see 8. I see 1. I see 1 profile. Okay, maybe there's 10. But they're really fucking small. So that's what the deep swing profile sets up for you. It takes each individual swing and puts a profile on it. Just another way to visualize it. It's kind of busy. Puts a lot of noise on the chart. So we broke through, swept a low. Bias is down. We now have a single breakout. Look at that strong retracement out of the cuck zone. We have this fucking 70% move, 70-point move in a minute, and it's still going. Lots of volume, just pushing up, lots of buyers stepping in. Fucking insane. Create our own profile for this entire range again. We're still in the cuck zone. The cuck zone VWAP. Ripping through it. Create our range, and we try one more time. We have a good stop loss set up behind, back on our same fucking area. So we're doing the same thing again in the same exact place. Stop behind this yellow line. This would have been a better buy area right here. So did we buy the absolute top? Is the question. So our next zone is here. The midpoint is up here. I think it would be fair to put a take profit at the midpoint. Let's get rid of this deep swing profile. It's too noisy for me. I can't do it. I'd just rather draw put my references, and then delete them. It's just a lot cleaner. Is this a 1-to-1? Should we? It is a 1-to-1. Let's take our 1-to-1 if we can get it. Because we did have some, we need to retest this area before we're going to get above it. We're going to have we're going to have a little bit of a battle up here. So can we even retest this area? Our zone is still valid. We can move our stop. Take a small L if we fail again. We have another zone where we will jump in, put our stop behind these sellers, put our profit up to the midpoint. This is going to be our make or break moment for the day. Do we bounce back? Or do we give it back? Shit. Just not going to put my stop way down here. It's just too wide. Right? I can be wrong for $400 to win 1,200, 3-to-1. And if we lose it, we just accept it. I like that. I mean, technically, a one-to-one strategy here wouldn't be the worst strategy, but we have our levels identified, and there was a bunch of selling pressure here. It's the next big zone. Midpoint is right here, so I think we can make it back there. And crazy. This plays out absolutely insane. I think we move into take profit. We have this strong buying aggression here. Maybe put our stop behind our trusty yellow line that we've been fighting with all day long. Hell, I think it would even be safe. I don't know if it's safe though because it hasn't tapped back into this zone, and maybe it doesn't tap back into this zone. Let's lock in profits. Let's be smart. And then we can always re-enter on the top of this zone. Take another shot. Placing our stop behind these zones. 600 to take 1,000 home. So we're just about back to break even. For the day. That 3,800, a lot of that was from the prior day of backtesting. So the goal with this is to do this every single day. Obviously, I'm not going to do it for the entire trading day, but I kind of feel like the morning from 9:30 a.m. to noon, and maybe fast forward until we get to power hour and maybe try it again for power hour. That might be the play because most of the volume is traded during power hour and first couple hours of the market. And get another strong buy zone printed here. This might be where I add one, put the stop loss behind the zone and take profit at 1-to-1 again, or not 1-to-1, but at the top here. That's not looking good. These aggressive buyers got absorbed. Can we push back up again though? That's kind of a red flag. Use the force. It's crazy. My nervous system is, even though this is back testing, it feels real. My heart rate just went up. And my first instinct when this effort zone printed was to just close it out take the $500 and run. But my plan was to take it. Oh, why did it hit it short there? That's crazy. I must have had a second contract open. So, okay. I'm good there. We are now in profit over $1,000. It was a battle of a morning, and I think I'm done. So we hit our 50% midpoint range. It was a struggle getting up there. It wasn't easy. Definitely not as easy as it went down. So I could definitely see us retracing back down to the point of control here. And, but I don't think I'm involved right now. I think I'm out because that took a lot of energy. So we end up doing pretty well for the day. We can take a look on some other features while we just keep letting this play out. So we ran it on real time. So that was real time market speed. And we can go into a strategy report and we can add our sim account and change some settings. Begin date is going to be February, I believe February 4th. What are we on right now? February 5th. So let's just look at the 5th. So balance 23,000. Now this is counting other trades. So let's change this. Okay. So balance 2,825 on the day. Profit of 9,625, losses of 6,800, number of trades 30. That's crazy. I would have never guessed that I took 30 trades. 26 long, clear bias, 4 short. The losses came on the 4 short trades. Max drawdown on any trade was $985. 53% winners. 16 winning trades. 14 losing trades. Max winning trade 1,255. Max losing trade 880. So I guess the max drawdown was 985 here. Average trade drawdown 364. Pretty damn good. So we take a look on the day prior. This was our last backtesting day. And this was a pretty good day. We had 3,650. No losses. We took 3 trades. We had a $500 drawdown on one trade. Max drawdown of 1,380. So we did take a pretty big drawdown that wasn't realized. But we had 3 trades, 3 wins, pretty good profit. So the tools available to you are pretty cool. It also shows you the trades, the entries and exits. You can always go back and check it out. Symbol performance. You see your equity chart with different metrics and a time analysis. which that's hourly, Wednesday, yearly, monthly, daily, hourly. So pretty cool way to test and fine tune your strategy. So while we were talking about that, we did break above the zone. We're going to clean this up. We got too many lines. So our next area, actually the next level with the highest negative delta, because I think there's some positive delta here. So right here is the next big area where I could see us rejecting from. Looks like some buyers got absorbed here. So it may not go any higher. Like sellers just ate up buying orders here, or the aggressive buyers. So we had aggressive sellers stepping in as well, but a lot of positive delta. So a lot of aggressive buying happening right here. Interesting. So we could just go down from here, right? We should just return back down. So about 30 more minutes till lunchtime. The question is do we take another trade or do we call it a day? Well, now looking at the profile, what do we see? We see this big empty area. There was lots of selling. Do buyers come in and try to repair this area before it rejects back down? I think it's possible. Is this line on another chart? Is that what's going on? Okay, that's coming from my... So I had this line. Okay, so this is the value area high from the previous day. This line right here. I could see us also if we... Let me do this. It's not on this chart, but if I extend that line out to the side here, will it change it? Oh, I don't think it did. Oh, that's the wrong line. Shit. So right there, you can see we're returning to this little zone where buyers and sellers had a battle. Buyers eventually won. This time, do sellers win? And do we push the price down instead of pushing the price up? Throw a trend line on there for fun. It's how the makings of returning back to the value area high for the day. So my bias right now is short. But I need to see evidence before getting on board. So we don't reject from here. We wait for it to get up here before we look for price to make its way back down. Okay, now we're getting some selling pressure. So this is looking promising for a flip. I'd like to see a effort zone print. Aggressive buyers just stepped in here and were absorbed by selling orders. Can we stay below this line in the sand that I drew? And we'll get a limit sell order ready just in case we get a zone to print. Which I believe we might get a zone printing around here. We could also consolidate in this range once we hit lunchtime before making a move back down to the downside or attempting to break through to the upside. Right now it's consolidation. Buyers are pushing. Another rejection from the middle of the zone I created. Got some sellers stepping in. It's another one of those battle zones. I want to just stay out of this entire area again, similar to what we had down at the bottom over here. We had a zone print though. That's exciting. The question is, do we take it and risk our profits? Lots of selling pressure. I don't see a lot of green zones printing, so let's take it. We put our stop behind our zone pretty tight, 390, and we will just target 1-to-1 on this small win. We'll go 395, 390, small win. Now, if the zone stays valid, can we take another tap out of it would be a question. Why did that happen? I just said limit buy. Why is it doing that? What the fuck? Limit sell. That's why. I'm a dumbass. Like, what? What am I doing? So 19 minutes to lunchtime. Looks like sellers are getting aggressive. We tap back into this zone. Again, like I said, do we consolidate and bounce back and forth for a bit? Do we just play the zone back and forth? Do we take our profits and run? So we're going to take our take profit. So that's 550. Stop loss 410. Do we tap back into the zone and get filled is the question. I'm not sure why we didn't get filled there. So I think this is an area where we just chop up the chop zone. Let's see how it works out. Play around a little bit. So we got about 18 more minutes of market before we wrap it up and call it a day. Definitely a chop zone. So this is a danger zone. Like we could take it back up again if we really wanted to. I think it's just going to kind of rotate between these two. For the rest. So I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm not going to play that game, even though that's what it looks like it's going to do. It's essentially chop the chop zone up. I'll pass. All right, so 15 minutes left. We'll speed it up a little bit here since I'm not in a trade. See what happens. So I would have got stopped out if I would have attempted to do that. Because now we're getting some movement. Here's where I would be okay taking a trade back down to pause it for a moment. Back down to the trend line or the value area. Is that value area high for the day? Is that what I said? I think I got rid of it, but I think that's the value area high. So one last opportunity will place our, it's not what I want. Jesus Christ. I do that a lot. It's like I'm dyslexic. We put our zone, put our stop behind the zone, risking 655, putting our take profit at 1490, and let's run it. I'm going to speed it up here. I'm getting hungry. If it makes it down to the profit target, we'll just close it out. And we get stopped out. 1150. Back to 8x. It's that freaking cuck zone, right? Got faked out. So we took the breakout there in a sense, or the breakdown without giving it time. I guess I'm happy with that trade. It's perfectly fine. Um, we're at 8x speed, so it's a little faster. And now we're at lunchtime. Still in that consolidation area. Not much happening. And I expect us to consolidate here. Let's just see, right? We're going to run this for the whole hour and go a little faster. Let's see if we just hang out in this zone for the entire hour. Just this area right here. Just cleaning the highs and the lows. 12:30. Maybe we take it all the way to power hour to 1 o'clock here. Well, I guess that would be 3 o'clock. So interesting. So it did make it back to this area that we identified earlier as a likely area of rejection where sellers stepped in before, just to show it again visually. It's this high volume node that you can barely see behind here, and there's also a selling node. There's also these nodes right here where we return to, where it's bouncing back up off of. Okay, so we just had a zone print. Clean the high, tap back into a strong area. I think we can take a shot here. So if we limit sell, I almost did it again, right here. Put our stop behind the zone. Man, we're risking half of our profits here. And we're going to take our profit down 1,200. It's not enough, so we're going to have to reduce that. We got some sellers step in here behind this swing. I think that's good. Let's see what happens. Do we get filled? So that was nice. And we're really having a good day. We still may get more opportunities. So they're back from lunch. Not a ton of any large aggregate orders happening, but I think we stay away from it. We do make our way back to this value area low, value area high. Anticipate to see a reaction here. Or breaking back down. We are sped up right now. So we're at 2 p.m. New York time. Returning to the cuck zone. Rejecting. So if I saw a sell zone print up here, I would likely take another short. I don't like this sell zone though. It's kind of tiny. That was a strong push down. Then another impulse down. So now we have two sell zones. I like this much better. So we're going to put a limit sell order. We're going to hold our stop pretty tight here. That's $1,000. That's not tight. What am I talking about? Shit. It's not tight at all. I'm going to put it right here, 500 to take home 760. Day was a good day. Didn't even have to use my AK. All right, so this is interesting. We're going to remove some drawings from this page right here. And we still have the drawings from the other chart, but just going to simplify it a little bit, clean it up. So for the daily profile, I'm going to draw another line. This is the value area low right there. And if we put a daily volume profile on, point of control is now migrated up to here. And we'll get rid of it. So I'll be honest, I don't anticipate us dropping below the initial balance low, and I don't anticipate us returning to above this 24.8. 50-ish area. Can I bring the, what the fuck? Where's the properties? Oh, it's on the other chart. What the fuck? No wonder. Actually, that one should be green. And this one here should be red. So I'm basically saying that we're going to be in this range for the rest of the day. And that color is just far too bright. So let's just see. I'm not going to take any more trades. We're at 3 p.m. So we have one more hour. So we're entering power hour here. Pick up the speed to 40x. So I think this will be a spot to, we got stopped out there actually. So it did push down lower. So now we are outside of the value area. We're in the value area low, and we're actually, if I show you from the range chart, you can see that we are down in the value area low, outside of the value. And that's where we finished, right there at the value area low. So pretty close to the range that I set, but we did drop down another 85 points. Let's go ahead and pause. It's running the overnight here. And so 85 points. Essentially at the value area low. Continue to push down. So for tomorrow, essentially tapping in. Let's make that yellow. So we're gonna make that point of control. Bring it back here. We broke out, tapped into the lower profile point of control. returning to our lower area of value for rejecting and closing. And there's a little pocket between these two ranges I created. Pretty interesting. Still never hit this 24,500 that I'm interested in. So I kind of feel like we still have some room to the downside, even though I have a bullish bias at this 24,500 line. So we're going to be looking for us to hit this 24,500 line. I mean, shit, we could come all the way down to the value area low here. Shit, we'll just put this zone right here. Makes more sense to me. So we kind of have our bias set up for the next day already. And I could see us returning here, because that's the point of control for that, before dropping down, before pushing back up. So kind of what I might be looking at is something like, shit, the drawing tools for this suck. Open up. That's a line tool. I don't want a fucking line tool. This is stupid. There should be drawing tools on this chart, even though it's a profile chart. So another thing that I don't like about the platform, but we'll make do. So essentially what I'm looking for is we're going to open up, retest the point of control, drop down, retest the value area low of the lowest profile, maybe break it, maybe even extend before returning and making our way all the way back up to maybe the next area of value, where we had lots of, maybe returning to there. Or that's not the best. That could be one option. Another option would be turning to there. So now we kind of have a game plan for tomorrow's back testing. Create another video and keep the ball rolling on that. If you actually followed through and watched this, you're absolutely crazy. But it's historic, it's documented, and will be there as proof of how I became a successful trader. So thank you all for whoever's supporting the channel. I'm not selling anything, no agenda. It's just to document the history of my trading adventure. So thank you.